Hey everybody, it's James here from Guitarist.com, and today I'm going to show you how to play Take It to the Limit by the Eagles. I'm just going to play a little bit of it for you.
All alone at the end of the evening, and the bright lights have faded to blue. I was thinking about a woman who might have loved me. You know, I've always been a dreamer, and it's so hard to change. But the dreams I've seen lately
And this song is great because it has some simple walk-ups and walk-downs in it. It uses really simple chords, but there's a few things to do. Like at the end, there's this cool crescendo bit, and we're going to cover all of that really quick before we get started. If you've already subscribed to the channel, I truly do appreciate that. But if you haven't subscribed yet and you do enjoy learning guitar with me, I'd appreciate if you could just take a quick moment to hit the subscribe button, the like button, and take care of all that. I'd really appreciate it. Anyways, we're going to get started with some chord shapes. The song mainly uses the G and C chords. And when you play G like this, it's a really easy transition into C. But there's also a D chord in there, and for that one, playing G like this is really advantageous. So it doesn't really matter which way you play it, it's gonna help in one way or the other. And by the way, if you're not 100% familiar with all these chords, I do have a free ebook. It's free for all my subscribers. I'll put a link to that in the corner and down below. Anyways, we start going between the G and C chords with a little walk-up sort of thing. So we would strum the G chord 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to play the third fret of the thickest string. And notice I'm playing G like this, with my ring finger on the third fret of the thickest string, my middle finger on the second fret of the A string, and my pinky on the third fret of the thinnest string. That's a good way to do it. You could also play it like this. Whichever way you play G, it's going to work. And we're gonna, for this walk-up, play the third fret of the thickest string, which we're already pressing on our G chord. Then we remove our fingers from the lower strings, and we play the open A string, and then we play the second fret of the A string. So if you're using this G chord, it looks like this. If you're using this G chord with my middle finger on the thickest string, it looks like that. You're playing the same notes either way. And then we land on our C chord. And that's where what I call the cowboy G chord comes in handy, because you go, lands us perfectly into that C chord. It's really quite easy to make that switch. I recommend doing that with the walking bass line, going 3, 0, 2, C, and landing on that C just to smooth it out. And once we're on the C chord, strum it 3 times, and then we go the third fret of the A string, which we're already pressing on the C chord, then the second fret of the A string, and then the open A string. So just 3, 2, 0, and the fingering's consistent for that one. And then we go back to G. And I want you to practice that like this. 1, 2, 3, walk, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, walk, 2, 3, just like that, over and over again in a loop. There is one other walk that we do. We start on G, and we play the third fret of the thickest string, our root of the G chord, and then we play the second fret of the A string, and then the third fret of the A string. So, and that walks us into a D chord. So I recommend taking the same steps to practice it. You do just the walk, landing on D, and there's no going back from D to G. So that's it for this one. Just like that. As far as the rest of the tune's concerned, it's all just some chords and strumming. So, once you have the walk down, you don't even really have to play the walking part. I just for me, it's like the coolest part of like the feel of the song. Anyways, I'm just gonna pop the chords up here. And you can see I put a little WU for walk up and WD for walk down. That way you'll know to walk up and down at certain points. And I recommend, to get really comfortable with the chord shapes, to just kind of strum your way through it. This song is in 3/4 time. That means we count to 3 over and over again. So we go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. And the bright lights have faded to blue. Just ignoring those walk-ups for now, just getting the chords. I was thinking. And then we're gonna have a B7 chord here. And for the switch from G to B7, I'm just gonna take my G chord and I'm gonna move it over. If you're playing it this way, using your middle finger on the 3rd fret of the thickest string, you move it towards the headstock 1 fret, and then you just move your 2 fingers up, your middle and index, and you move your ring finger towards the G string, and you end up with your B7 chord. That's a really smooth switch. I remember learning that when I learned 39 by Queen. Anyways, if you're doing the other version of G like this, your middle finger can stay where it is. So that's another trick, because B7 isn't like the most common chord. It's nice to have those little tricks to like make the switch easier. So we go G into B7. We're strumming them 3 times each. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Then E minor. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then we have this cool. It's not necessarily like a walk up or a walk down, but it's like a chord walk, I guess. You'd find it in Times They Are a Changin' by Bob Dylan. It's the exact same chords and fingering and everything. We start on a D chord. 1, 2, 3. Then I'm gonna move my middle finger down to the 3rd fret of the A string, just like a C chord. 1, 2, 3. And then I'm gonna remove my middle finger. I'm gonna put my index on the 2nd fret of the A string and my pinky on the 3rd fret of the thinnest string. This is like a G chord, but I'm not using my middle finger. I'm kind of muting that thickest string. It gives me G/B. 1, 2, 3, and then a D chord, but I'm being sure to prominently get that A note. So it gives us D/A. And that all together, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then we go back to some G to C. 1, 2, 3, C with, you can start putting in those walk-ups. 1, 2, 3. And then we go to A minor. And switching from C to A minor, we just have to move 1 finger, but we still got to reposition our hand a bit. If we are holding C comfortably and then we try to switch to A minor, my ring finger feels a little stressed out. So I got to kind of take my elbow out and I go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. And then I'm going to put my middle finger to the 2nd fret of the A string. That's the note B. This gives us A minor/B. But I'm just going to pick that one note. So I just go 1, 2, 3. And then it takes me into my C chord nice and comfortably. 1, 2, 3. And then we play our D chord for 4 measures. That means counting to 3 4 times. 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. And that gets us into our chorus. But before we move on into that, I want to take a look at our strumming pattern. Like I said before, this song's in 3/4 time, but it has a swing feel. So we're going to count it out 1 and a, 2 and a, 3 and a. Downstrokes on the numbers, upstrokes on the So it's a bit later than usual. Kind of feels like extra long downstrokes. But you look at our pattern, and on beat 1, we're just playing a downstroke. On beat 2, it's just a downstroke. And then on beat 3, it's a down up, 3 and 3 and And, when it's not the most difficult pattern, we just count it out going 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. You don't even have to count all that breaking down. You can just go 1, 2, 3. That's what you want to do eventually. 1, 2, 3. If you want more help with getting that together, I recommend loading up the original recording, just muting the strings and just getting that pattern going. You know, first you could slow it down, like watch the song on YouTube and you can use the little gear icon to slow it down, and then just, you know, get used to it that way. I also have a ton of resources to help you out with that I can, I'll put some links down below for that at some point. Anyways, that's our strumming pattern. And before we add it to our verse, I just want to show you the chorus because it is pretty simple. It starts off on C, 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3 with G, and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then on C, we do a stop. So we just strum the chords and we stop the strings by touching them. Not karate chopping, we're just kind of lightly touching it. 1, 2, 3, D, 2, 3, and that's it. So at this point, we're ready to put a little bit of this song together. I'm going to turn on my metronome, and we're going to play the intro, verse, and chorus with all the walk-ups and the strumming and everything. You can always just watch this, see what's going on, and try it with me after. A 1, 2, 3, a 1, 2, 3. So yeah, for those stops, we just 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now the only thing we haven't covered yet is the very ending. It's basically the chorus, but they repeat it a whole bunch of times, and there's a couple things in there. For the final chorus, we started as usual. Down the highway, and show me a sign. Stop to the, and then on this one we don't stop it. For the D chord we just let it ring. So 1, 2, one more, and then we go to E minor. 1, 2, 3, 2 times with our pattern. And then instead of repeating the chorus, we go between C and D. Take it to the limit. Take it to the limit. Take it to the limit. One more, and then on the G chord we go. And we just keep repeating that C to D thing. So on the G chord there, I'm just playing downstrokes only for 2 measures. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and. But notice I'm getting louder. That's called a crescendo. I'm getting more intense as it goes on. Something I've learned over time is that people tend to, whenever it's time to crescendo, they're at max volume, a quarter of the way into it. So really reserve that. Save your volume. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and take it to the limit. Take it. And on the second repeat and afterwards, there's no more stops. You just keep strumming through it. But when you hit that G chord, one more time. And you just keep doing that over and over again. And you can listen to the original recording. You'll hear that it fades out as they do that. Obviously, you cannot fade out in a live situation, so I recommend just kind of doing it 3 or 4 times. One more time. And just, end it with the stops. Take it to the limit. One more time. That feels pretty good to me. So that is how you play Take It to the Limit by Eagles. It's not technically the Eagles, but everybody says the Eagles. If you want to play along to the entire song with me, I have that available on my Patreon page. I'll put a link to that down below. Don't forget to grab your copy of my free ebook, which will show you all the basics. If you want to go further than that, you want kind of like a step-by-step guide from absolute beginner to confident strummer, my course, Learn Guitar Once and For All, will help you out with all of that. Please check that out if you are interested in learning more with me and you want to really hit that point where you can just show up and play guitar. Otherwise, I appreciate those of you who subscribe to the channel, and if you haven't yet, if you could take a moment if you enjoy learning guitar with me. Otherwise, have a fun time practicing, and I'll see you soon.